This is the question asked in today's skillrack daily challenge. So we are given a string as an input and our task is to find the substrings in which the first and last character are adjacent in the alphabet series. So our first task is to generate all the substrings for the given input string str. So let us generate it. So these are all the given valid substrings in which the first and last characters are adjacent. So totally there are 6 substrings. The first substring is on. So here the first character is o and the last character is n. So the characters o and n are adjacent in the alphabet series. So the character o is present after n. So this is a valid substring, and then the next substring is nm. So the first character is n and the last character is m. So again both the characters are adjacent in the alphabet series, and here the character m is uppercase. It is given in the question that the substring must be considered as case insensitive. So these characters n and m form a valid substring. So this must be considered. And now the substring men. So here the first character is m and the last character is n. So again both the characters m and n are present adjacent in the alphabet series, and then for the next substring the characters n and o are adjacent, and then again o and n, and then for the last substring again n and m are adjacent in the given alphabet series. So these are all the strings in which the characters, the first and last characters are adjacent. So totally there are 6 substrings in which the first and last characters are adjacent. So our output for the particular sample input is 6. So we print 6 as our output. Now let us see our sample input 2. So this is our sample input 2. The given input string is graph. So first let us find all possible substrings that can be formed for the string graph. And while forming substrings, the minimum length of the substring must be 2, because we need first and last character. So we need at least 2 characters in every substring. So that is why we form the minimum length of the substring of 2, and the maximum can be up to the string length of str. So the first substring of length 2 is gr, and then ra, and then ap, and then ph. So these are all the substrings of length 2, and now we should form substrings of length 3. So the first substring is gra. So gr and a. So this is our first substring of length 3, and now the next is rap. So ra and p, and after that aph. So this is the last substring of length 3, and we cannot form a substring after this, because if we start from p, then there are only 2 characters. So we cannot form a substring of length 3 if we start from the character p. So now we should form substrings of length 4. So the first substring of length 4 is grap. So gra and p, and then the second substring of length 4 is raph. So raph. So this is the substring of length 4, and now we should form substrings of length 5. So the substring of length 5 is the given input string itself. So graph. So these are all the possible substrings which can be formed for the given input string str. So these are all the possible substrings. Now we should check which substrings has the first and last characters such that the characters are adjacent. So in the first substring the characters g and r. So both the characters are not adjacent in the alphabet series from a to z. So we move on to the next string. So the first character is r and the second character, that is last character, is a. Again they are not equal. And then for third string ap, not equal. And then ph, again it is not equal. And then for gra, the first is g and then the last is a. So they are not equal. And then for rap it is not equal. Aph it is not equal. And then grap, the first is g and the last is p, but they are not equal. So for none of the substrings, the first and last characters are adjacent in the alphabet series. In the last string graph alone, the first character is G and the last character is H. So the characters G and H are adjacent in the alphabet series. So this is the only substring which has the first and last characters adjacent to each other. So we print our output as 1 because there is only one substring in which the first and last characters are adjacent. So our output is 1 for the sample input 2. And it is also given in the question that if the characters are A and Z, it must also be considered as a adjacent. Now let us see how to write a C program for this. So first I am creating a new character array named str of size 1001, and in the next line I am accepting the input in a string format and storing it into the character array str. And then I am creating a new integer variable named count, and I am setting its value initially to 0. So we will be using this integer variable count to count the number of substrings. So now we have to form the substrings. The length of the substrings must be minimum of length 2 because we need two characters, that is the first and last character. So we form substrings minimum of length 2 and we iterate till the string length of str. So suppose if the string length of str is equal to 5, then we will be forming the substrings of length 2, 3, 4 and 5. So in the first I loop, I am starting to iterate from 2 and I am iterating till string length of str. So I less than or equal to string length of str, and in every iteration we will increment the value of I by 1. So this I loop is the length of the substring. So first it will be 2 and then it will be 3 and then it will increment 1 by 1 until I becomes equal to string length of str. So now within this I loop I am creating another loop. So this J loop iterates from 0 till strlen of I minus 1. Here we are iterating till string length of str minus I because suppose let us assume we are forming substrings of length 2 for the particular string graph. So the first substring of length 2 will be gr and then ra and then ap and then ph. So we cannot form a substring after ph because if we try to form a substring of length 2 from h, there are no more characters present in the right. So the substring which we formed from p would be the last substring, and the index of the character p is string length of str minus 2. So that is why we iterate only till string length of str minus I. So the value of I will be varying in every iteration. So we will be iterating until the last possible character from which we can form a substring of length I. So in this every iteration of the J loop, we will be able to form a substring. So the substring will be present from J till J plus I. So the I is the length of substring and the starting position will be the value of J. So in this J loop, the characters present from J till J plus I minus 1 will be the characters of the substring, but we got nothing to do with the substring. What we need is just the first and last character. So I am creating a new character named first and then I am storing str of j in it. So that would be the first character of the substring. And then I am creating another character variable named last, and then I am storing the last character of the substring. So the last character would be j plus I minus 1. So that would be the last character of the current substring. So I am storing the last character into the character named last and the first character into first. And before storing, I am converting the character into lowercase because it is given in the question that the characters must be considered case insensitive. So I am converting both the characters to their lower cases. And now after converting the character to the lower cases, we have to check whether the characters are adjacent. If the characters are adjacent, then the absolute difference between the ASCII value of the characters will be equal to 1. So I am creating a if condition and I am checking whether the absolute difference between first and last is equal to 1 or not. So if the absolute difference between the ASCII values of the character first and last is equal to 1, then it means that the characters are adjacent. So we increment the value of count. But it is also given in the question that the characters A and Z must also be considered as adjacent. So in order to check for that condition A and Z, again we include a condition in the if condition. So we inside the if condition, again we are including a or, and then again we are checking whether the absolute difference of first minus last is equal to 25 or not. So we are checking for 25 because the absolute difference between the character ASCII value of the character A and Z is equal to 25. So in the if condition, if either first minus last is equal to 1 or else first minus last is equal to 25, then we increment the value of count. So we will be passing all the cases. So finally, after the nested for loop, the value of count will be our output. So we finally print the value of the integer count. So now let us check our program with sample test cases. So I have already given the sample input 1 and our expected output is 6 for the sample input 1. So let us check it. So we also get 6 as our output. And now the second sample input is graph. So for this our expected output is 1. So let us see what we are getting. So we also get 1 as our output. And now for the last input A, Z. So for the particular input our expected output is 9. So we also get 9 as our output. So this is the logic behind today's daily challenge. Thank you for watching.